When you hear Stoicism, what comes to mind? Probably some bearded dude in a gym tank top lecturing about female nature while doing bicep curls. Maybe Andrew Tate types throwing around Marcus Aurelius quotes between misogynistic rants. Let's be honest, Stoicism has a bit of a branding problem these days. But here's the truth bomb. Stoicism doesn't belong to the manosphere. They've hijacked and twisted a profound philosophical tradition that has just as much, if not more, to offer women. And I'm here to reclaim it. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how Stoic principles can be revolutionary tools for navigating everything from workplace discrimination to relationship drama to societal expectations. Because if there's anyone who needs practical wisdom for dealing with things outside their control, it's women. Let's address the elephant in the room. Stoicism has been co-opted by some toxic corners of the internet. You know the type, men who use rational thinking as code for dismissing women's emotions and quote Roman philosophers to justify their sexism. These guys love Stoicism because they've reduced it to don't have feelings and be tough, which conveniently aligns with traditional masculinity. They've cherry-picked concepts like control what you can control, but ignored the Stoic emphasis on compassion, justice, and community. What most of these self-proclaimed Stoics don't realize is that the ancient Stoics themselves would have rejected their narrow interpretation. Stoicism was never about suppressing emotions. It was about understanding them. It wasn't about dominating others. It was about mastering yourself. And here's where it gets interesting for women. Stoicism is fundamentally about navigating a world that's unfair, recognizing what you can and cannot change, and finding inner freedom despite external constraints. Sound familiar? That's the daily reality of womanhood. Stoicism, the original feminist philosophy? Okay, calling Stoicism feminist might be a stretch, considering it emerged in a deeply patriarchal ancient Greece and Rome. But hear me out. The core Stoic principle is this: external circumstances don't determine your worth or happiness. Your character and choices do. For women constantly judged by their appearance, relationship status, or reproductive choices, this is revolutionary. Epictetus, one of Stoicism's key figures, was born a slave. He understood oppression intimately when he wrote, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." He wasn't saying just accept injustice. He was providing a framework for maintaining dignity and agency within unjust systems while working to change them. For women navigating patriarchal structures, this dual approach is essential. We fight for structural change while refusing to let those structures define our self-worth. That's not submission. That's strategic resilience. Some things are within our power while others are not. This simple idea from Epictetus is Stoicism's most practical tool for women. Let's break it down. Within your control, your judgments, your values, your actions, your responses. Outside your control, other people's opinions, societal expectations, discrimination, biological realities. Women waste tremendous energy on things they cannot control. We obsess over aging in a culture that worships youth. We internalize criticism about our bodies, our parenting, our career choices. We exhaust ourselves trying to be perfect in systems designed for us to fail. Stoicism offers an alternative. Focus your energy on what you can control. You can't control whether your male colleague interrupts you in a meeting, but you can control how you respond. You can't control if someone judges your choice to be childless, but you can control whether you let their judgment affect your confidence in your decision. This isn't about passive acceptance. It's about strategic allocation of your emotional and mental resources. Why drain your battery on things you can't change? Begin each day by telling yourself, "Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness." That's Marcus Aurelius. And no, he wasn't just having a bad day. He was practicing premeditatio malorum, the Stoic exercise of anticipating difficulties. Women are often socialized to expect the best, to be optimistic, to smile through hardship. But there's freedom in preparing for challenges. When you mentally rehearse potential obstacles, they lose their power to derail you. Think about it. Women navigate potential dangers daily. We hold keys between our fingers walking to our cars. We text friends our locations before dates. We're already practicing this Stoic technique without calling it that. Expand this to other areas. Before your performance review, anticipate sexist feedback. Before family gatherings, prepare for intrusive questions about your reproductive plans. Not to be negative, but to be ready, to respond from a place of principle rather than reaction. When the worst doesn't happen, you're pleasantly surprised. When it does, you're prepared. Either way, you maintain control over your response. For Stoics, external success, wealth, status, beauty, even health were preferred indifference. Nice to have, but not what makes a good life. For women bombarded with impossible standards, be successful but not intimidating, be attractive but not vain, be maternal but don't let motherhood affect your career. This perspective is liberating. Your worth isn't determined by your productivity, your relationship status, how well your children behave, or whether you fit into your genes. Your worth comes from your character, your integrity, your courage in facing challenges, your wisdom in making choices. This Stoic view directly counters the messaging women receive from every direction. Beauty products promise happiness through youth. Social media suggests fulfillment comes from the perfect aesthetic life. Even feminist messaging sometimes implies success means adopting traditionally masculine career ambitions. Stoicism says, define success by your character, not your circumstances. In a world constantly telling women they're not enough, deciding for yourself what enough means is revolutionary. Let's get practical. How does a Stoic woman handle everyday sexism? Take the classic situation. A man explains your area of expertise to you. The non-Stoic response might be seething internally while smiling externally, or lashing out in frustration. Neither serves you. The Stoic approach: recognize what's in your control, your response, and what isn't, his behavior. Examine your judgment of the situation. This is disrespectful rather than I'm being victimized. Respond with virtue. Perhaps the courage to calmly correct him, or the wisdom to decide this battle isn't worth your energy. This isn't about letting things slide. It's about responding effectively rather than reactively. Sometimes that means setting clear boundaries. Sometimes it means strategic disengagement. The key is that you decide based on principle, not emotion. For mothers, Stoicism offers particularly valuable tools. Parenting involves enormous responsibility coupled with limited control. A recipe for anxiety. A Stoic mother understands she can guide her children but cannot control who they become. She can model values but cannot ensure they'll adopt them. She can provide opportunities but cannot guarantee success. This doesn't mean detachment. Stoics valued deep human connections. It means loving without the delusion of control. It means accepting that your children are separate beings with their own paths. It also means giving yourself grace. The pressure on mothers to be perfect is relentless. Stoicism reminds us perfection isn't possible or necessary. What matters is showing up with virtue, with patience when you're exhausted, with courage when you're afraid for your child, with wisdom in making difficult decisions. Single women face different pressures, questions about when they'll settle down, implications that something must be wrong with them, or that their lives are somehow incomplete. The Stoic single woman recognizes these judgments reflect others' values, not objective truth. She can choose to value her independence, her friendships, her work, her freedom. Her life isn't waiting to begin with partnership. It's already happening, already complete. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Applied to relationships, this means freedom comes not from finding the perfect partner, but from not needing one to feel whole. Ancient Stoics never had to contend with Instagram, but their principles are remarkably applicable to our digital age. Social media is designed to trigger comparison, desire, and insecurity, particularly for women. The Stoic approach isn't necessarily deleting your accounts, though that's an option, but developing what Epictetus called an inner citadel, a mental space that external influences cannot penetrate. Before scrolling, remind yourself that you're seeing curated highlights, not reality. Ask, is this adding value to my life or draining my energy? Practice the Stoic pause. Wait before posting or responding emotionally. Regularly detach completely to remind yourself you don't need external validation. Perhaps no aspect of womanhood attracts more unwanted commentary than aging. In a culture that equates female value with youth and beauty, getting older can feel like becoming invisible. Stoicism offers a powerful counter-narrative. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Does the emerald lose its beauty for lack of admiration? Your value doesn't depend on being desired or admired, it's inherent." A Stoic approach to aging focuses on what improves rather than what declines. Wisdom, perspective, self-knowledge, freedom from caring what others think. It means seeing each line as evidence of a life fully lived, each gray hair as earned through experience. This isn't toxic positivity about aging. It's recognizing that while cultural devaluation of older women is real, you can refuse to internalize it. So how do you actually practice Stoicism in daily life? Here are some concrete techniques. Morning reflection. Take 5 minutes each morning to identify what's within your control today and what isn't. Set intentions for how you'll respond to challenges. Evening review. Before bed, review your day. Where did you act according to your values? Where could you improve? No judgment, just observation. The pause. When triggered, practice pausing before responding. Ask, is this within my control? What would my best self do here? Perspective shifting. When facing criticism, ask, would I value this person's opinion on other matters? If not, why let it affect me now? Voluntary discomfort. Regularly practice doing things that are slightly uncomfortable, speaking up in meetings, setting boundaries, asking for what you need. This builds the muscle of courage. None of these practices require announcing to everyone that you're a Stoic now. This isn't about identity, it's about practical tools for navigating life as a woman with more grace and less suffering. Let me be clear. Using Stoic quotes to justify emotional detachment or domination of others is a fundamental misunderstanding of the philosophy. True Stoicism promotes justice, compassion, and community alongside personal resilience. The ancient Stoics acknowledged structural injustice while providing tools to maintain dignity within it. They believed in working for the common good, not just personal advantage. They understood that humans are social creatures who need connection. Women don't need to reject Stoicism because some men have weaponized it. Instead, we can reclaim its deeper wisdom and apply it to our unique challenges. Stoicism isn't about becoming cold or unfeeling. It's not about accepting injustice or manning up. For women, it's about finding inner freedom in a world that still places external constraints on us. The Stoic woman isn't less emotional. She's more intentional. She isn't passive. She's strategic. She fights the battles worth fighting and conserves her energy for what truly matters. She defines success by her values rather than cultural expectations. In a world telling women they're too much and not enough simultaneously, Stoicism offers a radical alternative. You are exactly what you need to be, and your worth comes from within. So the next time some guy in your comments section drops a Marcus Aurelius quote to explain why you should smile more, remember, he doesn't own Stoicism. Neither do the Sigma male grindset bros or the red pill community. This ancient wisdom belongs to anyone seeking to live with clarity, purpose, and inner strength. And that includes